Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hey, welcome to Type Thursday London and Type Thursday New York joining each other. Hey, Frahide, how's it going?
You're having my coffee. How are you?
Really, really well. I'm having my I think it's like a mojito, but non-alcoholic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Me too. So let's see who we have here. We have, whoa, Nikita. Say hi, Nikita.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Giovanni, Najari.
Hi.
Let me see. David, Debs, Brian. Wow, lots of people today.
Awesome.
So many people, 48 participations are in the house, and that's good. I hope you all have a soft drink, or if it's alcoholic, that's fine as well. We promote both sides of the drinking game.
Exactly. Ferdy says, oh, hi there. Howdy, Mirko. Howdy, Mirko. Alex.
Howdy.
Nice. Do you have a drink, Mirko?
Not yet. Hold on. I heard mojito. I've been getting a bunch of non-alcoholic mojitos from across the street at the Ukrainian spot. So I'm gonna go grab one.
Yeah, it's still the middle of the workday for a lot of people, so drinks in the middle of the workday. I don't know if that's accepted or not.
Okay.
It's totally acceptable.
Yeah, what happens in Type Thursday stays in Type Thursday, you know.
Except when it's recorded on video, right?
That is true.
Well, it depends on who you send the video to. Hello, Nadine. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. Same for me.
So many cool people. Well, 56 already. Wow. Is anyone's first Type Thursday? Type it in the chat, or if you want to talk. Mark David. Hey, Mark.
My first one.
My first one.
Oh, welcome, David.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody.
So what typeface are you, David? Let's start with the questions.
Oh, God knows.
Gotham.
On blank.
What typeface are you, Mirko?
I'm probably the Vim Crowell Brusselman's revival thing I'm working on right now.
You're your own typeface. That is good.
Yeah. I actually.
That's very, very good. If anyone wants to be their own typeface, if we'd like to share their own typeface, that's also good. Please put that in the chat, and then we can all.
Yeah.
Who you are.
Hello, Lynn.
Sorry, that's the beanie is the
Hello.
Oh, okay, Lily, Mark is saying to set your view to split screen and grid view because there are so many faces.
So many faces, split.
So many lovely faces. If you go to view options next to the viewing Type Thursday screen, the green bar, there's a side-by-side mode. So you can see the presentation and faces at the same time, but also then you can switch it to grid view. So you can make it as big as you want.
Mark, do you work for Zoom?
Yeah.
No, but yes.
Every day we learn something new about Zoom.
Can you repeat that again? So if I go
Sure,
new screen or share screen?
Yeah. So there's next to you are viewing London at Type Thursday screen, the green part at the top, if you're full screen, you can click view options and there's a side-by-side mode. And then you can have the presentation on the left side and then faces. And after you do that, you can change from speaker view to grid view in the top right corner so that you can see lots of faces and then a small presentation if you want.
Oh, now that sounds wonderful. I don't really have that involved, but I've got technical assistants coming to help me out. So bear with me on that one.
Oh, that's good.
You can also temporarily unmute with the space.
Yeah. Hey, Brian. See who else? Victoria.
Hello, hola.
¿Cómo estás, Victoria?
Muy bien, bueno, con mal tiempo, pero bien. Buena cara. Al mal tiempo, buena cara.
Kevin.
How are you?
Great. What's the next question, Lily?
You're muted.
I left on mute, Lily.
Hello. So our next question is, what is your favorite? I don't know how you like to spell it. Here in the UK, we like to spell it that way. I know over in America, you like to spell it differently. So I've added a little bit of a pun there.
Which one's the
what's
correct
your
way?
favorite letter or number? Hello, hello, hello. Which one is it? Is it a letter or is it a number? And what is your favorite?
What is
And your favorite glyph? Are you asking, what is your favorite glyph?
Yes.
Letter or number?
Letter or number? Oh yeah, okay. If you actually really want to support like a full stop or a forward slash, feel free. I'm all down for that too.
I think my favorite letter is the letter 7. That's my favorite one.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That comment so Nikita. That comment so Nikita.
Who's the smarty pants who's going to tell us about the simoleon or section mark, and that's their favorite?
Yeah,
smarty
totally.
pants. Sorry.
Multi-ocular O.
Ampersand's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin, what's your favorite letter or number?
Oh, I definitely know it's not an S because I'm not good at drawing those.
Nobody is.
Well, no one is, I assume.
So I'll start with what I'm not favorite of.
Okay, with S, we already know that, but which one do you really like drawing or specific in an alphabet? Like,
I guess somebody told me this week that I draw A's in a very specific way with rounded apexes.
oh, nice.
Capital A or lowercase a?
Capital.
Yeah, Mirko has a little gist to his lowercase a's when he does calligraphy as well.
Lowercase a is the easiest way to identify a Latin typeface, to my mind.
Good comment. Yeah.
Can't disagree with that.
Oh, fighting.
And Nadine,
Well,
what
expecting-
letter is that you just put in there? Is that an aleph? Yep. I can't read Arabic. I should start learning. I recognize the typeface.
It's the B,
Nadine,
like a B.
what's your favorite one?
I put it already, it's the ha. So you guys will not be able to say it, but it's the ha.
Oh, cool.
It looks like a little bit of like a crescent and then a wave on top.
Oh, Michelle here is saying lowercase a or g. I love lowercase g as well. I love it in Avenir as well. I really like that one.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Going too fast for the crowd, man.
You're getting excited, Lily. I know it's late in London, so.
No, it's the evening now, so we're like, you know, gearing up.
Yeah. I'm still drinking coffee
also-
in Seattle.
Just to let you, technically, we did not find the way to split the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one little face here. So whoever talks will be in the frame there. Can everyone see a face on the screen?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
The typeface.
Oh, Beatriz says Eñe. Oh, we have Bea from Spain. Bea, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Yay! Hey, special guest. This is the chapter lead from Madrid. She's actually doing the translations on Twitter simultaneously on our live interviews. So kudos, Bea.
Really
Bienvenida.
to be here.
Gabriela, hi guys. Hi, Gabriela. I've seen you on the interviews. You live in Mexico, right? Who else? Our script form. Can't see any face yet, says Jess McCarty. I think you have to set up your view, Jess. Lowercase a or g. Cool. Mark says the dollar symbol. Okay. Okay, Mark.
Philip, someone else. The S is painful.
De Caracas pa'l mundo. Bien bueno. Mirko, I'm about a mile from the chat. Oh, okay. Okay. So, Lily, how about announcing our special guests for the Type Grid?
Okay. We do have one more question that I'm fine. Oh, hello. What is your go-to font? But we can just leave that if you want to like have a little chat in the chat. That's okay too. So let's just jump straight into. So thanks for everyone joining, but special thanks to our special guests. Special. So we have Brian, Jesse. Also, if you want to like holler when you're there, that'd be grand. So, Brian.
Hi.
Yay! Hey.
Jesse, you there?
Hi, Jesse.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Jesse, how are you?
Oh, there.
Welcome.
Lynn.
Hello.
Hi.
Yay.
Yay.
Hi.
Nice to have you.
Lovely to have you. Gloria.
Hi, Gloria.
Well, Erica, Nadine, I know you're there.
Yes, I'm here. Hi, I'm waving at the screen even though you can't see me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
I'm Lillian.
Lila,
sorry. I was trying to say my own name now.
Hello. If she's not here.
And Amber.
Hi.
Amber in the house, yes. Amber from FemType.
Yay!
Woo.
So exciting to have Amber here.
Cool. So we're going to jump straight in to give us a holler and a who and a what. It's so many acts now, so please tag us both with TypeThursday NYC, or if you're over in London, TypeThursday London. Woohoo! P.S. I'm just going to point out that my background has been merged with another background, so if I am half split with a photo, that's fine. We won't change that right now.
I think this is actually our first joint event, Lily, right?
Huh?
The first joint event we made.
It's our first joint event, but something you might have tuned into me and Fahide chatting about our lives on Instagram, which was pretty funny. And that was like right at the start of the lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was scary. Not only because of COVID, but because of the live event itself. That's like a whole nother issue.
Yeah, figuring out how live events work. I mean, clearly I still haven't got it, if you can see my face, but you know, no worries. So yeah, please give us a who and a what and check out our Instagrams. So we're also showing previous type designers that have been showcasing their work throughout the last years on both of our channels as well. But please do let us know if you have a type project that you are like on the creme de la creme, as we say in London, but it's not quite there, but it's almost there. We can help you out, and the community is there for you guys, so we're super happy about that. Globally, we are sponsored by In Real Life New York,
because this is fake life.
Yeah, so this is fake life.
Just to clarify, this is fake life.
So do you want to, so we're sponsored In Real Life by TDC over in New York, and in London, Fedrigoni. And I don't know if this is going to work with obviously my screen facilities, but you can see I have in my hand the beautiful Fedrigoni book, which is the 366, which was this year's.
Wow, that's nice.
It is absolutely beautiful. However, if I go one more, you can see that the submissions are now open for the 365 2021. It's going to be off the chart. It's going to be like way better than this. It's digital version, and it's not just going to be one page per person. It's randomized. It is going to be amazing. So head over to their Instagram or their website, and you can put your name in for the entries. And please, people in New York, do it too, because that would be off the chart.
Definitely. We will. That's for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. That's for sure.
Faux show. Yeah, and then we'll get all the submissions in, and so Fedrigoni are also doing multiple other things in the lockdown. They've been also doing a poster competition as well. So please head over to their Instagram and check them out, because they do lots of things and collaborate with designers, and they support typography as well majorly.
They're amazing. And their showroom, they have a huge showroom as well. I saw the one in Brussels. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it
and
is.
After COVID, you can go, like, I think they're gonna get everything more stable, and you can actually go and see the exhibit.
Yes, and I think at the moment in London, you can call by appointment as well.
Oh yeah, I have some books there in the Brussels one.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So if you're in Brussels, people, anyone know anyone who's in Brussels, go there, check out Fahide's work. Hello, hello.
Some Latin flavor.
Okay. So over in New York, I'll let you do the intro here.
Yay! So a very special guest of ours is Brian La Rosa. He's well, he's in the member board of TDC, which is our venue here in real life, as Lily says. And I would like to hand over the metaphorical mic to him so he can talk a little bit about TDC and the upcoming events. Brian?
Yes, thank you. So I love Type Thursday. Let me just say that really quick. Huge fan, love the spirit of it. And some of you that regularly go to the events in New York might be like, what? I never see you there, right? Because while I was one of the sponsors in year one, back when Type Thursday was like meeting in bars, recent years, you know, my evenings now really belong to my kids. So it's harder for me to get out. So I love this, that it's suddenly the virtual. It's like, you know, can we call it an upside to COVID? Like this, it changes the accessibility of the event in such a major way so that people in cities that perhaps don't have chapters can join. And even for those of us in cities that have strong chapters who are maybe parents and don't have the ability to come out in the evening, suddenly my accessibility has changed to it. So I'm thrilled to see this evolution. And similarly, Type Directors Club is kind of being forced to evolve. And I'm going to paste into the chat a link to our upcoming virtual salons. You know, as many of you know, the Type Directors Club is a 74-year-old club, and it's always offered, you know, benefits to those who are outside of New York City. But there's always been a slightly more of a benefit if you're local, because you're able to come to the gallery space and kind of meet up with people in person. But now we've begun these virtual salons. And so too, just like Type Thursday, you know, the TDC, the community, the benefit we're able to offer is expanding and becoming far more accessible. So there's been some amazing virtual salons in recent months, and we have some amazing ones coming up if you check out the link. If you haven't gone to, yeah, I pasted it into the chat. Hopefully you can see it. If you can't, just go. Oh, I think oh wait, let's see. Oh, I think I didn't send it to everyone.
Oh.
I'm not a pro user here. Okay, I got it. All right, I sent it to everyone now. You should see it now.
Yeah.
If you haven't gone to any of the virtual salons yet, definitely come to them. They're fantastic. It's a great, amazing way to stimulate your mind while we're all hunkered down. So thanks.
There was one with Speakerman, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I have the poster here.
That was very good. Very well worth watching.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ryan. Cool. So yeah, please do head over to TDC's Instagram or website and check out the amazing stuff they're doing as well. They are, hats off to you guys. Cool. So let's start talking type with our, well, when I say our, collectively our, the dialogue leads, Nikita over in NYC. So I'll pass on the baton to you.
A round of applause for Nikita.
Yes. I don't think anyone will take me seriously with this background, but I'm going to try my best to be serious and, you know, worthy of the role and torch. So first up, we got two killer speakers here. The first one is Oscar Saylor. Oscar, say hello or wave. I know you're somewhere.
Put Oscar slide.
What's up?
What's up, Oscar? How's it going? So Oscar, just to give everyone a little overview, he's a graphic designer, illustrator, has some killer logos and type, has experience in video, motion graphics, environmental design, and digital, loves clean content, and believes in form as a key to brand storytelling. He also has an incredible amount of energy, killer design, and he's got jokes. So I think as part of his presentation, he has to tell us a joke before he starts talking about his typeface. And that's...
Don't do that, Nikita.
You have to when you hear jokes, you know. And then the second...
Welcome.
Welcome, welcome. And the second presenter, Andrew. Andrew, say hello. I know you're here somewhere. I saw your name in the list.
Hey.
It's funny, I'm trying to see, okay, let's see, there's about 50,000 small windows on the screen. He's somewhere over here. So Andrew, London-based London-based designer and creative, loves traveling, and I'm sure you miss it like most of us do right now. Use your skills to solve a lot of problems, making a mess. I think we all make quite a few messes. And Andrew will be showcasing his project, Transformational Type, which will explore physical manipulation of typographic forms. So let's give him a big hand. Welcome, Andrew, and once again, welcome, Oscar.
Yay.
It's great to have you guys here virtually.
Andrew and Oscar, I have made you co-hosts, so that means you can also share your screen. So
Okay,
I guess.
Thanks.
No, you're welcome. Happy to have you. So Oscar, drum roll.
All right. Do we start then, I guess?
Let's kick it off. So just before Oscar starts, just the way this works, just like in every other Type Thursday, we're going to do a 5-minute presentation, 10-minute feedback, and then we'll continue with Andrew in a similar format and time slot. So that being said, Oscar, the floor is yours, or the screen is yours.
Nikita, take the time.
All right. So, all right. Everybody can hear me and see my screen? We're good?
Yep.
Yeah, good.
All right, cool. Well, hello, I'm Oscar. All right, thanks again for the opportunity, Farida. And I know you and Beatriz and a few others were bugging me to do this. I was like, so I'm here now. As you guys saw, this is my photo that's on the social media, but this is the actual me right now because I haven't shaved or cut my hair in like since COVID started. So just trying to be real here. All right, so a little bit about myself. I work for Verizon. You know, I get to work on like, you probably seen some of these Verizon Up commercials with a lot of animated type. I do a lot of the stuff for like wayfinding, a lot of the stuff for like elevation stuff for the 3D team to like for the new stores. So just a little background on like what I currently do. And I've done a lot of stuff, a few stuff for AIGA DC. You know, I'm involved with them a lot and I do a lot of stuff for Cinco de Mayo. I did my first 36 days of type, which is kind of challenging. I don't know how people do this every year. It's like really time consuming, but I mean, hey, it was pretty cool. And I'm currently right now trying to hop out. I want to see how I could contribute. So I started doing some Black Lives Matter posters, you know, and I think Farida printed out a few of them. So if you guys want any, reach out to her and she'll get a contact with you guys. I'm trying to see if we could do some stuff here in Brooklyn to do some murals or anything. And I'm still pushing for any more posters. And I'm trying to see if I could give them out for free and people could just give out money for donations. All right. So what I'm here for to really talk about is my company Bodega, which is what is actually Bodega. It's basically me and my other friend from Arizona. We started a company called Bodega, and then he's an architect. So he's a landscape architect, and he knows background in architecture, and I'm the graphic designer. You know, he does like a lot of the renderings, exterior design type of things. He likes to submit for a lot of competition and stuff. So we decided to make a team that just focuses on branding and architecture, you know, with a purpose to help people that like are willing to take risks and they don't have that much money, you know. So I'm here to like to support them with our, you know, give back with the skill set that we have. So and the way we started was like we didn't really have a full-on idea how to do this, so we just started making some fake merch, you know. So I made like a fake sweater, and then later on, my best friend printed that out for me. So I was like, oh shit, like okay, this is real. And then I made some fake skateboards. And then one of my friends printed out a real skateboard. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then we were ready to like, maybe, you know, we should start launching and do something. And then around April of 20 last year, we were focusing on, you know, making a website, maybe having a pop-up and give away some posters and stuff. And then after after showing the sweater around, some people keep on bringing up this company called Bodega online. So I kind of like panicked a little bit because I wanted to use that name. So then we went back in July, and I LLC'd the name is Studio Bodega, which is not as cool as just the name Bodega. But what was really weird is like right when we did that, like a few days later, we realized we didn't have a lockup, and the way we realized is that we got the opportunity to design a tote bag, and then we ended up making 50 tote bags. And I was like, overnight, I was like freaking out. It was like, I don't know how to lock up the name of Studio Bodega with Bodega. So I was like going all over the place. So I went basic, and I did Helvetica with Cooper Black. So it's like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know? So luckily some of my friends got some bags, they bought some bags, and I designed some poly mailers to ship them out and stuff. I still don't have, at the time, as you can see, I still don't have a lockup. Made some stickers to give away with the bags when you purchase them. And then what was really cool is that we started branding some studios in Arizona. We branded a landscape architecture studio in Arizona, and then we helped out one of our friends. She's a floral designer. She's now in Canada. So what I need your help on is like, I gotta switch this to say Studio Bodega. So what I've done so far is I went back and started from scratch again, and I'm trying to figure out some font pairings. And I did some other, like, I was just trying to go like the basic, you know, like the easy side, which is a sans serif. And then I landed, once I started using Windsor, I started landing my, like, maybe I should just go back to the Cooper Black because people like that one. So I ended up on this. And then I'm not really a big fan of it because I feel like I really like systems. And since it kind of looks okay when it's centered, but it doesn't really work with anything when I promote it, like on letterheads, on the business card. It's very like difficult for me to use. But then I just got mad one day and I made this because I couldn't make up my mind. So I just made a whole scribble. But we're trying to make some hats and like maybe and update the website. So it's kind of like very hard to use the logo lockup that I have right now, and I would like to get some help from you guys. So any advice you guys are willing to give, I'll be more than appreciated.
Oh,
thank you.
Perfect timing. I was just about to say you have about a little under a minute left, but you beat me to it, so well done.
Nice.
Nice. So first of all, awesome presentation. It's really great to see that exploration, kind of the journey that we all go through when developing a project, whether for ourselves or whether for a client. So this is great to see like a different like ups and downs, the lefts and rights you went through. That being said, let's open up to questions. And because there's so many people, we have 93 participants. Let's put the questions in the chat, and Oscar, you can just take a look at them and answer them, or I can reiterate a few of them, however, whatever you think would work better for you.
Or choose one when that person activates.
Do I get our presentation mode to see them? I can't really see the box right now.
So right now you're showing just a thank you page. Could you go back to the initial couple of lockup variations you've done, just so everybody can see it?
But to answer the looking for chat question, you have to drag all the boxes out. It's a little bit like, it's a bit rough, but.
Well, it says the chat
I'm trying to
now, so.
Yeah. I mean, you could just say the questions out. I mean, I'm fine with it.
Can I say one? Oh, I've got one.
I can't really see them. Yeah, sorry.
It's John Barry. A comment, really. I love the Bodega logo, the Cooper Black jammed together. That's very powerful. But the spacing on all the light type it's like you're jamming together a bunch of sticks. It's completely unreadable. In terms of the logo, if you use the light for Bodega, I would try spacing it out and rather than jamming it together. That will give you more contrast with the closely spaced Bodega, the heavy, and see how that works and play around with the spacing. So I do love that, the one where you had all the letters falling together.
I think it's a great point, John. Absolutely. I think a few of us are probably thinking the same thing. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Meta question, is chat disabled?
Yes, because it says chat disabled at the bottom, yes.
Oh, mine it doesn't say disabled. I'm seeing comments by Paloma, Sam, Debs, Lynn, Thomas.
Yeah, there are comments, but I think that one of the hosts needs to undisable chat so people can ask questions in
Okay,
chat if
Lily.
that's the intention.
Lily, give us a hand with that. Enabling the
there-
chat. Lynn, do you have a comment you want to say out loud to Oscar?
Oh yeah, I mean, also the chat is also disabled for me. Like
Back.
There it is.
Yeah.
It works now.
Oh, great, awesome. No, I just like really love the work and the intention like behind like so much different kinds of exploration. Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's my very short comment.
Oh, it's a great job. It's always nice to just appreciate the work too.
I was just gonna share that in terms of like the idea of changing fonts, I think like you're moving towards something with this like very tight leading on Cooper Black, and like I feel like there's places you can go. It's evolving. I think you can keep refining that and exploring that language, but you all have some equity there. You know, brand equity comes from time, and you've invested some time into that. So there is some value in sticking with that strategy so that anyone that might have recognized your old mark will still recognize your new mark.
Okay. That was a great point from Brian. Absolutely.
Yeah, to piggyback what Brian just said, I posted in the chat, because you were such a big fan of Cooper Black and has this kind of a value already invested into it, you know, I always felt like Cooper's lighter weights was just never as substantial as its heavyweight. Goober by Kyle Benson, I believe is his name. It's a pretty good rendition, kind of playing on that idea. I'm just curious what your thoughts were, if you're totally said it has to be Cooper Black, or you're looking for analogous types like Cooper Black, maybe to help you with that direction.
Oh, is your question like why I chose Cooper Black? It's like why?
Well, I was just asking. One was it? Are you set on it? Like it's definitely got to be Cooper Black. It can't. You know, I'm happy with it. I'm also happy with the lighter weight of it too, because you were playing with that for the studio segment of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, people here on the chat are
chime in. Can I chime in on Cooper Black? I think I like it the most because it's you see like sans serif logos all the time, and just having a Cooper Black, well, there's like some up in Canada and stuff, but it is friendlier and just not seen as often. But I think there are other rounded typefaces, you know, with that soft, goopy feel that you can look for. Just pointing that out.
We're getting some love for Cooper Black and derivatives. I like this. This is good.
Yeah. Just to answer back, sorry. To answer back, because I guess it froze a little bit. It just, yeah, it was just I was went back to using a sans serif, but it seemed too easy for me, and I wanted to get like a challenge. So like the more I walked around Brooklyn in the pizza places, the more I saw Cooper Black, and that's like what's more New York besides Helvetica, which is Cooper for me. Cooper Black is very New York. So I was like, I always wanted to move to New York, you know, and I wanted to have something fun. So like I wasn't really thinking to make something out of this. It was kind of like I made the Bodega logo one day, and I was like, yo, let's do something with it, you know? And then now I'm like, which is kind of fun. I'm like stuck in this situation that like, you know, like I don't even know if it works or it does work or how to use it correctly, because we're so used to using the same typefaces in our work environment. And now, you know, so I think it helps like the advice of you guys telling me to look at other fonts that are kind of similar.
There's some great recommendations in the chat. So Mark said that there is Gooper is a beautiful revival of Cooper. Then from Matt Burville, there's a New Kansas typeface out of London. So there's I just took a quick peek at this beautiful typeface. And Nadine, Nadine, go ahead and turn on your mic and let's hear what you got.
Yeah, thank you. So I think, so definitely from across the pond, the Cooper Black is definitely quite interesting because it just feels like with the way that it's treated now, that the letter forms are like sort of swelling with the love and joining with one another because of the negative tracking. But whatever works for the black weight is not working for the lightweight. The lightweight feels like someone punched it and they all, you know, clashed into one another. So the kind of like happy feeling you're getting in the black, we're not seeing in the light. The light feels accidental. The black feels a little bit more natural and happy. So I would say that perhaps if you go by contrast and pick for the studio, if you pick maybe very low contrast, almost monolinear sans serif, something to be a little bit, you know, bland and neutral, and let the black really speak and do the work.
Thanks, Nadine. That's spot on. Even from the slide that everyone is seeing right now, where you have the contrast of the Cooper black, and then you have the really thin, almost mono-weight sans serif. That contrast is just beautiful, and that deserves to be explored. So that's spot on. Jesse has a comment. Jesse, you want to pop your mic on and?
Yeah, Jesse,
Hey.
share.
Hi, how's it going? Yeah, I was just thinking, if you want people to call the studio bodega, then a studio is kind of a secondary word. It's not the most prominent word. I would really de-emphasize that. I think if you set it smaller in a boring sans serif or something and really let that bodega lettering shine, I think you'd get have a much more impactful design. And the word studio is in the name of many studios, so that's not really part of the hook of the name. I would focus on the word that's unique and the lettering that's unique and make that the most prominent element, and the studio is just sort of a tack on to that.
Good point. Thanks, Jesse.
Okay.
Based on the comments, everyone is agreeing with everything so far that's been said, so that's good. That's some good feedback. One more comment. Mark, pop on your mic. Let us have it.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, before I agree with, Thomas about exploring Gooper instead of Cooper. It's a really great revival, but also Gooper has really condensed weights that I think you could play a lot around with because you're building an architecture. And I feel like, yes, Cooper, it has like a beautiful legacy to it, but I feel like it has lost a lot of equity because it's everywhere. So I feel like if you went with Gooper, which is a really thoughtful revival of it, and also it has really condensed weights that you can also think of like fun lockups with a studio to the top right and bodega to the bottom because it's narrower, or taller just because you can stack it. And one other thought is I feel like tracking together works a lot better when you use uppercase, because like the negative positive shapes are a lot more, they're like harmonized better. So the clashings are like a little bit more understandable. So I would think about Gooper condensed and uppercase characters, because that will also help you stack because you don't have the extenders and descenders clashing.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts, and these are really great. Thank you for sharing.
All right, thanks, Mark. That's a great comment. And we have time for one more. If anyone else has a comment they want to verbalize, because sometimes it's easier to do that than post it in chat. So is there someone else has one more comment to make?
Hey, Oscar, this is Kevin.
Kevin, what's up?
Hey, how are you? This is probably not going to go over very well, but it's just eating at me, so I'm going to say it. I like the work. I'm really having issues with the Black Lives Matter related artwork. I would ask that you do some reading on the issues that Black folks are having right now with non-Black folks doing Black Lives Matter related artwork. It's really just eating at me. I think the other work is nice, but I have problems with, it just seems like a very design exercise related thing you're doing with it. So I would just ask that you read on it, because there's a lot of folks right now who are horribly offended by that. So I have major problems with that work, and I just had to get it off my chest because I couldn't sit here quietly and ignore it.
Oh, Kevin, what do you suggest to improve the work? Like, for example, we have been.
And do you have any links that possibly you could share?
I've been posting in my stories, but there's a lot of literature online right now about the unease it's causing in folks to see folks all of a sudden out of nowhere treating Black Lives Matter like a design challenge. It's really problematic. You know, number one, they're muting voices of Black artists getting through when they decide that I need to have this platform to speak on other people's pain. And I find that's one issue people have had. Number two, a lot of the blogs online, they're just eager to post any Black Lives Matter related artwork. They don't care who it's from. So again, it causes additional confusion. So it's just really problematic. I'm having a hard time speaking about this because it's very emotional for me. But I find the artwork to be very problematic for me. And I would encourage anyone who's thinking about doing this artwork to read up on it, because it's really troublesome for a lot of Black folks to see people just treating this like a design challenge right now.
Yeah.
And I understand the intent is to be helpful.
Thanks for sharing.
But
Thanks
there's
for sharing.
a lot of pain it's causing people.
Kevin. And actually, Ponyback writing on that comment, Oscar's posters have been printed and are being handed out for free.
That's not the point, though. That's not the point. And anyone who's making it about that needs to educate themselves, because you can hear, like, I'm raw right now talking about this. There's not that many, I don't know who else is on this call. For me to speak on this, where I'm clearly the minority on this right now, is troubling for me in itself. So for people to make this about charity and stuff like this, they're really missing the point. And I really didn't want to even speak on this, but I would encourage anybody to please read on these issues, because it's really hurtful for a lot of folks right now. And if you're just making this artwork and you're not speaking to folks, and folks who these things really impact, and asking them what they feel about it, it may be well-intended, but you don't know the pain you're causing people. So thank you for listening.
Kevin, we definitely appreciate the comment. It's good. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say thanks so much. And maybe if you could possibly, if you have some links that you think you particularly know are really, really helpful.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, because I think part of this excuse, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that, because I think there's something incumbent upon people making this artwork to do research. Asking me to do research because other people aren't aware and took the time to do research is also part of this problem.
Yeah, for sure.
And I hear that. I hear what you're asking, but I'm saying at this point, the artist should have done the research before he made the artwork.
Yep.
For someone to now ask me to go do homework to correct somebody else's mistake is also problematic.
Yes, and I would say that obviously it's within the artist's own thought to actually do the research as well. But thanks for sharing as well.
People got to educate themselves during this time. And I understand people have good intentions, but this is the thing that's been so problematic the last 2 weeks within the art community, of people just running to make design challenges out of other people's pain and not doing the work and understanding what they're doing.
Okay, well, it's definitely great to appreciate it. It's great to get insight on this. Guys, for everyone else, I shared Kevin's Instagram. He's, like I said, it's up on us. It's up to us to do the research, educate ourselves. So there's some great research out there. Thomas shared a couple other really great links in the chat as well. So Lynn shared a link also. So please go and take a look at those links. Let's learn from all this. All right. So I don't know if we have any more comments about the work itself. I think the presentation was absolutely fantastic. Really nice type expression, really great to see that. So I think taking some of the comments from the chat, exploring a few different typefaces possibly, maybe forgetting the Cooper and going with Gooper. I don't know if one letter is a big change, but from Cooper to Gooper, it could work really well. Thanks, Mark. That one was especially for you. There's a couple other really good recommendations. So Oscar, thank you for presenting. Really nice work, and can't wait to see the evolution of your brand and how it continues. So everybody, let's give a virtual applause. It's a really, really nice work, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Oscar. Great work.
Thank you. How do I just stop it? I don't know how to get out of this thing.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. So now let's welcome to the metaphorical stage Andrew, who's going to be talking about his transformational type project. Andrew, are you somewhere here?
Yeah, let me just share my screen.
Yo.
My screen is sideways. Oh, no, it's not.
Who got that? Sweet.
Perfect, we can see you.
Cool. So yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Just take a little bit of time to introduce myself. So my name's Andrew. I'm currently a junior designer at Pearl Fisher Studio in London. And prior to that, I studied at the University of Greenwich for a couple of years, where we had quite nice varied briefs. Anything from kind of like motion design to packaging to kind of design thinking or experiential space. So it was lovely, kind of a mix of work we got to do. This photo here kind of, I think, represents how probably quite a lot of us are feeling right now, just tipped back on our chairs, just don't really know what's kind of happening, what's next. So yeah, just really kind of represents what is happening at the moment. So straight into it, what I kind of want to talk to you about tonight is one of my projects, one of my final uni projects called Transformational Type. So we got set this brief, which was looking into explorational type just as a theme, and we needed to kind of create a piece that could then be experienced by people within a specific space. So that was really important to the brief. And me personally, I love the kind of mix between physical and digital design. So that was a really kind of important thing for me to carry on. And past quite a lot of experimenting, what I came to was this kind of process of folding type forms. So I took the original DIN typeface and just started folding it. So I printed it and physically folded it all by hand. And what was really, really lovely was being able to kind of see what other letter forms you can create just simply by folding a simple letter form. So here we start to see some N's or C's or J's, and just other variations of the letter Z. And in total, I ended up creating 35 different forms per letter. So I had a total of 910 unique letter forms, which was about 52 hours of work, super labor intensive, but it ended up quite a nice project in the end. So how I started to bring this into a space, I really wanted to kind of share this way of working with other people. So I went back to my secondary school and did a workshop there, and it was really, really well received. So I just gave these students these printed single letter forms or numbers and just said, fold these letter forms, see what you can create. I didn't show them my work, I just gave them like a blank canvas. And I had one student in particular said, oh, I don't know where to start. And I think that's always a problem we kind of come across as designers when we're faced with something new, especially within experimental type, which can seem quite intimidating at the start. But this person ended up making some of the most interesting work out of the group, and it was just really lovely to see how they kind of approached this process that I'd thought up. So after the workshop, I thought, how can I kind of share this with the further design community? So what I did was I vectorized the forms, and although I feel like this kind of raw organic quality that's in this level of the project was much better for me, I think, you know, as any kind of type designer, you want to share your typography, and it needs to be a working typeface. So I vectorized all 910 forms, which again, super loads of hours into that, and was able then to share it with the world. So this is an example of the kind of physical to digital. So each fold I scanned and then vectorized by hand. And I started to realize, actually I only realized this a couple of days ago when I was building this presentation, but because I'd started to scan all of the forms in exactly the same orientation and grid them up in the same way, I started to lose some of the individuality of it before. So where this, if you turned it sideways, could be an N, I kind of lost that and it stayed a Z, but it created a really lovely kind of selection. And it wasn't really about legibility either. So some of these, you can't really read a Z at all. And I think that's just the beautiful thing. When this is typed out and randomized, you know, you can have a completely illegible sentence, but weirdly, I can actually read most of it because obviously the amount of hours I spent into it. So I opened it up to the design community. I made a website where you can download the forms and create a piece with them and submit your contribution. And it's been really lovely to kind of see what people have created out of this. So some people have been using the forms to see how they work with brands. Some people have been using Cinema 4D to work with light and shadow and looking at space. And other people have been creating faces or looking at the letter forms as shapes even. So yeah, really, I'd just love to know kind of like what people think about the project, how it could push into a new space, because I feel like at the moment it's quite in a comfortable space, but comfortable is never really good. And I'd like to kind of push this into new realms.
All right, well,
yeah, thanks.
Thank you for that awesome presentation. Just can't imagine the amount of work that has gone into this and the amount of vector points you had to create. So hats off to you for that one, man. I mean, based on just the comments I'm seeing in the chat, everybody absolutely loves it. I got a couple of comments, like a suggestion from John. John, do you want to maybe turn on your mic and just elaborate on that a little bit more?
What did I say? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I said here.
No scrolling back in the chat.
Yeah, I just did. The initial screen had some regular DIN letters and some of the folded ones. And I was looking at, imagining a word there and going, well, imagining my last name, thinking, okay, the B is not going to work. But if the B was a regular one, I could imagine a folded E and the two R's, or actually, because you've got so many versions, that would give you two different R's and the Y. So mixing like that, you could actually make something legible, but using the illegible aspects. But in that case, it's my name, so I know what to look for, but it would only work if it was words or a familiar name. It's just like using a weird typeface on a book cover for an author's name. If it's an unfamiliar name, that doesn't work. If it's a familiar name, then you can get away with it. So that's just an idea on one way to use it.
Oh, thanks.
All right, cool. John, thank you for that. We got a couple of other comments. We got a comment from Isabel. Isabel, do you want to maybe elaborate on this a little bit more?
Sure. I was just thinking like how this could be applied in more traditional settings. So I was thinking there's a lot of publications that manipulate type for not body content, obviously, but for like feature heading pages. And like the New York Times Magazine is good at that. Gail Buckler does this all the time. And if there was a story with a vague theme of transformation or folding, like I think that this could be used really, really elegantly.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, so I had one submission that kind of goes on this kind of idea of transformation here. You'll see kind of quite small, but you'll see it. And it's lovely to see kind of how multiple different people are approaching this. But yeah, that kind of shows that rough kind of transformation you're talking about, I think.
Cool. We got a couple of comments centered about showing original DIN. Lila, I think Lila and Mark are kind of tag teaming this issue. So Lila, do you maybe want to elaborate a little bit more on what you said, and then Mark can piggyback off of that if necessary?
Yeah, sure. I guess because I think the project's really cool. I guess my only question is about DIN, because I could see this from a licensing standpoint kind of being problematic, because I know that a lot of font, like you can't really alter a font file. I get if you're printing out DIN and you're altering it and you're rescanning it in, but I think using DIN or having the original be shown could be problematic, especially if you altered the font file. Does that make sense? Like, I'm just trying to understand how this was done without breaking the EULA, which I don't know the EULA for DIN. So like that's pretty much my question. I mean, I could see this project could be great for like if you're using an open source font or a font where you're allowed to alter the original typeface. That's just my question, or like my concern, especially coming from if you're using it in a commercial sense. I'm not talking about like the altered forms, because I feel like that seems okay, but I think like even on the site showing the original DIN, like was that an altered font? Is that a vector image? Like those are the questions I'm asking.
No, that's a great thought, Lila. Andrew, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose for me, the forms I've started creating here are so far transcended from the original typeface. I think, you know, it's no longer DIN anymore, although it was originated from DIN. It's kind of a process you could, if digitally able to, you could kind of apply this to any typeface. But yeah, totally understand what you're talking about licensing. I think that's a really interesting comment. But yeah, for me, I don't think any of these 910 forms could be accurately represented as DIN. It just happens that that's kind of where it started.
Well, that's a great kind of response to that. So Mark also mentioned something about pairing, pairing to a certain DIM type is in a purchasing link. Possibly also from Jesse, there's a comment about an open source version of DIN called DDIN. Sounds funny just to say that. I don't know if anyone else is laughing, but I am. So maybe that's something that's worth exploring. So yeah, that's a couple of great points. We have time for one more verbal question. If anyone else wants to top up or turn on their mic and maybe say something.
Oh, I have a question. So hey, Lily, obviously from TypeThursday, London here. So I'd just like to say I really like the use of DIN. So my first question was, I don't know if you explained it, but why did you choose DIN? And would you ever like to run this project with your own typeface, bearing in mind, knowing kind of what the parameters are, then to design a font or a typeface that actually lends itself to being folded or lends itself to being played. Because I know you were talking about making this digital, so whether or not it's or potentially it's a space where you upload your own font to mess around with it, to have a little, you know, play. But like so your own font, would you like to build your own font and mess around with it, or would you like other people to be able to upload their own fonts? Because Din, I find Din just being a kind of like a little house for the time being, but going forward there could be multiple typefaces that you could play around with.
Yeah, absolutely. So Din was kind of just chosen. It was one of my preferred typefaces at the time, and I'd already spent about 6 hours worth of kind of folding into Din, and it got to the point where I was like, well, I can't go back now. I've just got to stick with it and just create the whole lot. Otherwise I won't be able to finish in time. But yeah, no, definitely it's something that in the future, if possible, if the process can be coded even, that it could be applied to kind of any typeface. And you know, if I can create a typeface of my own and apply this to it, I think that would be definitely appropriate. And if anyone can apply this to their typeface and see kind of what forms they can start creating, I think that would also be really, really interesting to see.
Right. Awesome. I think Lily just wants you to create another typeface based on the project that you've just shown. So there's more work for you, Andrew.
Yeah.
So guys, I think this is all the time we have for questions and comments. But first off, I just want to say what a great first joint venture between NYC and London, or London and NYC, depending which country of origin you're in. Let's give a huge hand to Oscar and Andrew for presenting their work. And feel free to turn on your mics for this. We want to hear the applause. We don't want to just see the applause.
Hey!
Andrew.
Go London!
Great.
Great job, Andrew.
So awesome work, guys. Thank you so much for sharing your work and your journeys and just two drastically unique projects. So great to see them focused around type. And now I'd like to introduce that Thomas guy who wants to.
Who he?
You guys heard it. You guys know Thomas, right? He's the founder of this whole thing, right?
Who is Thomas?
Yeah.
No, okay, I guess we can close that.
Jerk off.
I don't know Thomas.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. Well, no, I just wanted to step in just because, you know, as you can tell, I don't really get involved on the particular chapter levels. But first of all, thank you all for joining this call. I think it's really exciting to see, in spite of COVID, this opportunity to come together, not just New York and London, but we have people from Bogota, from Colombia, which is Bogota, Madrid, geography, wow. Anyways, the point is it's really exciting to have everyone come together. I want to thank you all for taking time, for either in your afternoon or your evening, to be here, or your morning for our West Coast friends in the United States. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I think what happened right here with Kevin, sharing his concerns, was a really powerful moment, because we're all learning during Black Lives Matter. And as Kevin said, there's a lot of goodwill happening, but also a lot of mistakes occurring. And I think this was a learning experience for everybody involved, and I'm very glad it did happen publicly in this event. And I just want to make sure everyone knows that, you know, TypeThursday is very much supported about the typographic community and being in a welcoming, supported place. And while, you know, obviously, I'm sorry that Kevin was hurt, and it hurts also that he's really the only one who could speak up on this matter. I think it was important as an educational experience for all of us to hear this. And more importantly, even how to respond to it. Because again, we might be all had meaning good intentions, but maybe even our response to it isn't the right action. So I think that's an important lesson for all of us to learn from this. So I want to thank Kevin for having the courage to respond and give that answer and educational experience for everyone involved, and for all of us here to listen and to understand and move forward. So I just want to say that. And thank you again all for being on this call. And it's been really exciting and rewarding for me to see that.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah, and again, from TypeThursday London and TypeThursday New York, we just want to say super major props for tuning in with us throughout the COVID situation on Instagram, and now with us now, and we're going to be bringing you hopefully more chapter to chapter moments in time throughout the still COVID situation. We hope you join them. We hope you participate in them, because that's always fun, to have a little laugh inside these online events. I'm having a lot of laughs, mainly because technology is hilarious. And yeah, so please submit work if you have work to submit to Type Thursday London, or Type Thursday New York, sorry. And if you would like to just get involved in a different way, like if you feel that you would like to do an interview, myself and Frahide have also joined the interviewees in the world, and we are now interviewing lots of people as well. Not quite sure we know how we're doing that, but we just muddle on on Instagram and Twitter. So please join that. Make sure you do check out TDC online as well as Fedjagoli, because they're wicked. And yeah,
I have 3 things to mention right now before we wrap it up. 3. The first one is I would like to remind everyone here and after this event who watched the recording, that Type Thursday is also a space for dialogue. So it's important that, you know, everybody speaks up about what they say. I think dialogue is very important and something that it's lacking in most events. And as our mission, we also have that, you know, you don't have to have 1,000 followers to be heard. You don't have to be, you know, in a clique. Everyone here can express their opinion. So I think it's very valuable that, you know, to have you here saying what you think. I really appreciate it. Second thing, we have giveaways.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to share your screen, Lily, to show the giveaways?
I would love to, technically minded if I can, ma'am. Bear with me 1 minute. Let me just try and get, that up. I'm going to share this, and it's going to be Frahide's face for 1 second. Get this up.
Giving away the globe.
Huh?
You're giving away the Earth. Is that the
I'm giving it away. Full screen mode, man. Check it out. Okay. Okay. Let me just do a major, like, through the whole thing. Sorry, it went from the start. Bam, bam. Oh yeah, make sure. Oh no, I just feel it all. Okay, before, let's listen to Ralph, who's gonna say sign up to our newsletter. Hello. Type Thursday New York and Type Thursday London. Check us out there because we share loads of typographical goodies. But speaking of goodies, hello. New York's giveaway. Frahide, do you want to speak from yours?
Yeah, one of the persons who is here today will get a free lunch at Casa Hora restaurant. Casa Hora restaurant is a Venezuelan-inspired cuisine here in Williamsburg. And you could, if you live in Brooklyn, you could get it delivered to your house. And if you don't live in Brooklyn, you can have a code that will send to you if you're the winner, and you can go to the restaurant and ask for any dish on the menu. Now, Lily, you go with London.
Woo! That sounds tasty. I hope I will. I can't win that one, but I am jealous of the person who wins, and I hope that you share the meal online somehow. But you really don't have to. Okay, so London's giveaway is a funny one. It's not about eating, it's about making, and it is a lino cut set. You're going to be able to create type or anything. It's going to be collected at our next in real life event, which will be this year. Pray. So yes, we will pick a winner at random, and they will have the beautiful lino cut set. I could show it to you in person, but I'd have to leave my beautiful surroundings. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to see it on the screen and see it in flesh when you win. Potentially. Woohoo!
I got excited for a second. I thought that was a razor, you know. So
razor. Sorry guys, no razor. Although you could roll a paint on your face, man. You know, whatever. It's better.
Yeah, Nikita, you could use a shave, to be honest.
Yeah. So we just want to say thanks so much for all our Type Thursdays volunteers, and because Type Thursday is a global support network, which is obviously, as Frahide said, dialogue is so much important, but it wouldn't be made possible without the people who volunteer. So thank you very much, both from London and New York. Woohoo! And we need some help. See these two tortoises? They need help. One needs help to get back over because tortoises on their back.
Which one are you, Lily? Which one of the turtles are you?
I'm the one that's on the legs, and I need help to put the other one over. So if you want to join Type Thursday, please let us know. Type Thursday, we'd love to have more volunteers. So help a tortoise out. Ha ha ha. Okay, and thank you, and see you all at our next online event. Woohoo! Or
yeah.
In London next event, we will have FemType, which Amber's in the house now, and that will be our next in real life event.
Yeah, and before we wrap it up, Lily, we should take a group shot.
Group shot, yes.
Put the grid so we can all smile for the photo.
Woo! Let's do that. I will stop sharing my screen somehow. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Personally, I would like to thank everyone for coming in New York, especially since it's lunchtime. And our special guests, I would like to thank TDC again, Brian La Rosa. Thank you for being here. Casaora, and, Jesse, Nadine, everyone, and especially, people who presented Oscar and our special guest from London. And I guess that's about it. Let's take the photo. You're muted, Lily.
It's a mime performance.
Yeah. Somebody's saying, will 82 people fit in? Well, let's hope so.
I think you have to do like several different screenshots.
Yeah,
of all the different
I'm doing several different screenshots.
Miri, ¿cómo estás? Clara.
You can only do 25 at once, I think.
Where's my Hispanic people here? Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola desde Londres. Hola desde Londres.
Hola.
Bogotá.
Bogotá.
Mexico.
We have a connection the other day with Bogotá and Madrid.
Brazil.
Oh, Nadine is also learning Spanish.
Nadine,
I read on Twitter, yeah.
I'm trying. No,
Nadine,
hablo
you
solo
can
un poco.
Habla de un poco. Cool. Okay, so photo before everybody leaves.
Oh, I've already done it, man.
Thomas, can you help us with the photo?
Lily already did it.
Oh,
okay,
no, I've already done that. I've done everyone's face twice. An option, and if you don't like the one that you pulled, well, there you go. You pulled
Wait,
it.
hold on.
Live on Type Thursday.
There's this new thing called Photoshop, so if you don't like it, you can just replace your photo with whatever you want.
Yeah, that's also true. Well done.
So thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
See you next Type Thursday.
See you next Type Thursday, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye guys.
Thanks.
There you go.